President Trump quadrupled down on his anti-civil libertarianism at his State of the Union address. Here he is talking about indefinite detention.
I just signed, prior to walking in, an order directing Secretary Mattis to re-examine our military detention policy and to keep open the detention facilities in Guantanamo Bay. I am asking Congress to ensure that in the fight against ISIS and al-Qaeda, we continue to have all necessary power to detain terrorists wherever we chase them down, wherever we find them. And in many cases, for them, it will now be Guantanamo Bay.
You know, for people who don't agree with the civil libertarian position on this yet, let me break it down for them in a way where I hope I could change their mind. Here's the problem. How do we know who a terrorist is and isn't? How do we know who a criminal or murderer is or isn't? Well, that's why you have a justice system. That's why you adjudicate it. You go to court, you present the evidence, you come to your conclusion. Hey, is this person guilty of a crime or are they not guilty of a crime? Are they a terrorist or are they not a terrorist? Due process and habeas corpus, this stuff isn't there for funsies. This stuff is there to protect against the tyranny of an out-of-control government. That's what it's there for. It recognizes that people have individual rights, they have human rights, and you can't just get dragged out of your house or dragged off the street and locked up forever with no trial. There's something, everybody knows on some gut level, there's something fundamentally wrong with that. You shouldn't just be able to grab somebody, drag them off the street, lock them up, throw away the key, that's the end of the conversation. There's something deeply tyrannical and unjust about that. But for some reason, people stop thinking in this way when it comes to terrorism. All of a sudden, shut the mind off, it's over. If the government says you're a terrorist, lock them up, throw away the key. But the problem is, of course we don't know. That's why you have court proceedings, to figure shit out. So, for example, here's one of the things that we learned about Guantanamo Bay. In the wake of 9/11, the Bush administration, George Bush and Dick Cheney, got in contact with the governments of Afghanistan and Pakistan. Then they got in contact with warlords in Afghanistan and Pakistan. By the way, many of those warlords to this day are our allies in Afghanistan. The same warlords who had child sex slaves, who we told our military, hey, look away. Don't talk about that. Look away. We literally discharged people from the military when they spoke up about child sex slaves that our ally warlords had. But we took the word of warlords in Afghanistan and Pakistan when they said, hey, I got these Al-Qaeda guys, I'm going to send them to you. Turns out they weren't Al-Qaeda guys. They were people that the warlords had a personal grudge with. So we locked up hundreds of people, innocent people, at Guantanamo Bay. But since we had no due process, no habeas corpus, no proceedings, there were innocent people who were locked up and had no way out. It was so bad that one of the people that we locked up is a guy named Murat Kurnaz. He's a German citizen. The government of Germany was like, what are you doing? You have our citizen locked up there for no reason. The guy didn't do anything. And so what happened? Well, over time, Obama had to slowly release a lot of these people. Now, what the Republicans do is they'll focus on the one-off case here and there where we captured somebody who perhaps actually was a jihadist and then, we had to let him go. But they don't focus on the problem. The problem is that you took him in an unconstitutional and illegal way to begin with. If you want to get these guys, you can get these guys. You could even try them in absentia in court and then act accordingly. But they don't do that. They take them in an unconstitutional, illegal way, and then when that inevitably backfires, they turn around and blame other people. No, that's your fault. You can't just snatch people in the world and lock them up indefinitely. Not only is that against the U.S. Constitution, not only is that against international law and the Geneva Conventions and the Nuremberg Tribunal, that's against the fucking Magna Carta. So it's not a question. These aren't questions. The reason we have due process and habeas corpus is to make sure we get it right. So we didn't get it right. We had so many innocent people locked up at Guantanamo Bay, but the story gets worse. We held innocent people and we tortured innocent people. Not only did we torture innocent people, we tortured innocent people to death. Not only did we torture people with stuff like sleep deprivation and mock burials, we did anal rape. The United States government did anal rape of innocent civilians. They called it anal feeding, which you go talk to doctors, they'll tell you that's not a thing that's done. They shoved a tube up somebody's ass, anal insertion, anal rape, and then pumped liquid food up there, leading to bleeding and scabs, and these innocent people were terrorized at Guantanamo Bay, at Abu Ghraib, at all of our secret prisons, illegal, indefinite detention facilities, and Donald Trump is out there saying, let's keep doing that. The law and order candidate, that's what he called himself, is saying, let's do the opposite of law and order. Let's not care about law at all. Let's not care about the Constitution. Let's not care about international law. I don't care about any of that. When we do it, it's okay. If Iran did what we did, we would have already invaded them, toppled them, and fucked up their country just like we fucked up Iraq. But it's us. So not only does he look the other way, he's for it. He's for it. So, and again, Mr. I love the Constitution. Well, you don't love due process. You don't love habeas corpus. You don't love the 8th Amendment, protection from cruel and unusual punishment, which is a ban on torture. You don't agree with any of that. You don't agree with basic Enlightenment principles, civil libertarian principles, human rights. It's really sad, man. And what I fear is the media does such a poor job explaining this. Like I just explained it to you right now. Now you get a good sense of what happened, and perhaps we even swayed some people who were on the fence. Like, I don't know, maybe Guantanamo keeps us safe, maybe it doesn't. When you hear the facts, you go, whoa, no, we fucked up. That's bad. That's wrong. That's wrong. But the media doesn't explain this like I just explained it. The Democrats certainly don't explain it like I just explained it. I mean, Obama claimed he was against Guantanamo. Well, guess what? He wasn't able to shut it down. He transferred a lot of people out of there. But he never made the case like I just made the case. He never explained it to you. Why do they pander to you like you won't understand it once it's explained to you? So we set up an illegal detention facility, extrajudicial detention facility. We don't care about human rights and due process and habeas corpus. We torture people. We hold innocent people. And then now the Republicans are the ones that aggressively make the case in favor of these things, and there's no counterargument. And so an issue that's an open and shut case where we go, obviously we shouldn't be doing this Guantanamo Bay thing. Now, if anything, it's an open and shut case in the other direction. Because the media didn't talk about it when Trump came out in favor of it here. The Democrats didn't talk about it. Nobody talks about it. Now, worst case scenario, it's open and shut. Everybody's in favor of it. Best case scenario, it's 50-50 and we debate it. This is so frustrating. We're so far away from where we should be as a country. And I don't want to hear another fucking word from anybody about how the U.S. cares about freedom and liberty and democracy and human rights. Because if we did, we certainly wouldn't have Guantanamo Bay open. We certainly wouldn't be ignoring due process and habeas corpus. We certainly wouldn't be torturing people. And that's what our law and order candidate is doing and arguing for right this second.